When I first met Adrian Blake, he made my world feel like a fairy tale. He worked in finance, always neat, confident and full of charm. I was a marketing manager, running from meeting to meeting, barely making time for myself. Then one day he appeared with coffee in hand saying, "You look like you could use a break." That small kindness turned into late dinners, long phone calls and months later, love. We built everything together from scratch. We rented our first apartment, painted the walls ourselves, and dreamed about owning a home. He said, "We'll always be a team, Ava." I believed him. I believed every word, until the day I discovered the truth. It was a quiet Wednesday evening. I came home early, thinking I'd surprise him with dinner. I opened my laptop to transfer rent money, humming as I typed in the login for our joint account. Then I froze. My eyes widened. The balance stared back at me. $5,812.09. It used to be over $83,000. At first, I thought the bank had made a mistake. Then I saw the transaction history. A single large transfer, labeled to Elora Grant. My chest tightened. Elora, the woman who worked in his office, the one he always said was just a coworker. My fingers trembled on the keyboard as I scrolled, hoping it wasn't real. But it was. Every penny of our savings gone. I waited until he came home. He walked in smiling, carrying takeout, humming softly like a man who had no secrets. "Hey babe," he said, kissing my forehead. I forced a smile and asked, "Did you send money to Elora today?" His smile faltered. "What?" I repeated, my tone sharp now. $80,000, why? He hesitated. "It's an investment," he said too quickly. "Her brother's startup, she needed help." I stared at him. "With our savings?" He looked away. "It's temporary, Ava. Don't make this a big deal." That's when I realized. He wasn't even sorry. He didn't deny it. He didn't explain it. He just dismissed me. My heart sank into ice. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling while he snored beside me. His phone buzzed twice. Curiosity, or maybe pain, made me reach for it. His screen lit up with a text. "Can't wait to see you walk down the aisle, my love." Another one followed. "Everything's ready for Saturday." My heart stopped. Saturday? My thumb hovered over the screen as the truth hit me like a knife. Adrian wasn't just cheating, he was getting married. To her. I sat frozen, staring at the man beside me. The one who promised forever was about to give it to someone else. By morning I couldn't cry. I was too numb. I brewed coffee like any normal day, acting calm, pretending nothing had changed. But inside my thoughts were racing. How long had this been happening? How had I been so blind? Every late meeting, every vague business trip, every "she's just a friend." All of it clicked into place. The betrayal wasn't new. I had just refused to see it. But now I saw everything clearly. I wasn't going to confront him again. I wasn't going to scream or beg. I was going to end this on my terms. Adrian had always trusted me with our finances. I managed our taxes, insurance, mortgage payments, everything. He said numbers weren't his strong suit, which was ironic coming from a finance man. I handled every password, every account. And that was his biggest mistake. Betrayal hurt, yes, but it also gave me time. Time to plan. I opened my old savings account, one I had before we married, one he'd forgotten existed. It was empty now, but it wouldn't be for long. If Adrian could take from me, I could take back everything, and more. I called my best friend Leah. She was a lawyer, and the kind of woman who could see through any lie. When I told her everything, she was silent for a moment, then said, "Ava, you know what you're doing could get messy." I nodded. He already made it messy, I told her. I wasn't planning to do anything illegal, just reclaim what was rightfully mine. She sighed. "Then you'd better cover your tracks." I spent the rest of that afternoon gathering every screenshot, text, and transaction record. Leah helped me organize them neatly just in case. Revenge was best served cold, but it also needed to be smart. By Thursday morning, my plan was taking shape. I started transferring small amounts, $1, $200 here, $800 there, from our joint account to my personal one. I did it over hours, spacing them out so the bank's system wouldn't flag it. Each click felt like reclaiming a piece of my soul. When Adrian texted later saying he'd be working late, I smiled. I knew exactly where he was, probably finalizing wedding plans with his mistress. The thought didn't hurt anymore. It fueled me. That night, he came home humming, the faint scent of perfume clinging to him. "Rough day?" he asked, loosening his tie. "You could say that," I replied. He smiled and patted my shoulder like I was a loyal pet. "I'll be out of town this weekend for work," he said casually. "Big client meeting." I nearly laughed. "Oh, where?" I asked. "Boston," he lied easily. I nodded, pretending to believe him. "Be safe." He kissed me, thanked me for always understanding, and walked away. I watched him go, feeling nothing but quiet satisfaction. He was lying to me for the last time. Friday morning, I woke up before dawn. My heartbeat matched the ticking clock on the wall. I dressed neatly, fixed my hair, and called the bank pretending to confirm a business transaction. My voice stayed calm. "Yes, this is Ava Blake, joint account ending in 3472. The manager recognized me immediately. "Of course, Mrs. Blake. What can I help you with?" Within minutes, I had full access confirmed for wire transfers, new passwords, and online authorization. He had no idea his soon-to-be ex-wife now controlled everything he owned. At noon, I called in sick to work and headed to the bank in person. I smiled politely at the teller, handed over my ID, and requested a statement printout. When I saw the total $112,640, I nearly laughed. Every dollar he saved for their new life would now fund mine. I set up an immediate transfer to my old account. The teller asked, "Would you like to close the joint account afterward?" I looked her in the eyes and said, "Yes, please." With one signature, I ended the partnership he thought he controlled. That evening, Adrian packed a small bag. "I'll be gone till Monday," he said, pretending to check emails. I helped him zip the suitcase. "Good luck," I whispered, forcing a smile. He smiled back, kissed me lightly, and left. The door closed behind him, and I exhaled, finally free of pretense. I poured myself a glass of wine, opened my laptop, and watched the confirmation emails roll in. Transfer successful. Account closed. I leaned back on the couch, feeling power hum through my veins. For the first time in months, I wasn't scared. I was in control. Saturday morning arrived. I drove to the Grandwood Hotel with Leah beside me. We parked across the street. Through the glass, I saw them. Adrian in a navy suit, Elora in white lace surrounded by flowers and smiling guests. I should have felt pain. But all I felt was clarity. Leah nudged me. "You sure you don't want to stop this?" she whispered. I shook my head. "Oh, I already did." I glanced at my phone waiting. At exactly noon, I got the alert. Adrian's last desperate attempt to use the card had been declined. I smiled. Minutes later, my phone buzzed again. "Ava, what did you do?" Adrian's voice was frantic. "The account's empty. The bank says it was closed. All the money's gone." I sipped my drink. Maybe it went where it belonged. He started shouting, but I ended the call. Seconds later, Leah burst out laughing. "You're unbelievable." I smiled. "No, I'm done being his victim." At the hotel, chaos unfolded. Guests murmured. The wedding planner ran back and forth. The band stopped playing. Adrian stormed out into the parking lot, phone glued to his ear. Elora followed, her face pale. From the car, I watched her snatch his phone and scream, "You said you paid everything." He shouted back, "I did." Their shouting grew louder until he threw his tie across the pavement. The image was priceless. My revenge didn't need blood or drama. It only needed silence and a little intelligence. Leah and I left before the scene got bigger. We drove to a quiet cafe by the pier. She raised her cup. To poetic justice. I smiled. To peace. But peace didn't come instantly. My heart still ached from the betrayal. I had loved him once deeply. Yet I also knew he would have left me penniless without a second thought. That realization was my closure. 2 days later, Adrian showed up at my apartment, eyes bloodshot. "You ruined me," he said, voice trembling. "You stole from me." I stood in the doorway calm. You transferred our money to your mistress. I simply moved my half before you spent it. His jaw tightened. She left me, he whispered. I shrugged. Guess she liked you better, Rich. I shut the door before he could reply. I leaned against it, breathing deeply. Justice didn't always roar. Sometimes it whispered. Over the next week he sent endless emails. Some begging, some threatening. I ignored most of them. But one stood out. Ava, please. I lost everything. I can't pay my rent. I typed back a single line. You should have thought of that before planning another wedding. Then I blocked him. Leah called it savage. I called it self-respect. With the money secured, I focused on rebuilding my life. I rented a new apartment, smaller but bright. I bought new furniture, nothing fancy, just things that felt mine. I started freelancing, building a design business from scratch. The nights felt quiet, but peaceful. No lies. No second phone lighting up at 2 a.m. Just silence and freedom. Months passed. One morning, a mutual friend sent me a link. Groom's wedding canceled after sudden financial collapse. The photo showed Adrian disheveled, standing outside the same hotel. The article called it a bank error. I laughed so hard I cried. The universe had a sense of humor after all. I didn't brag, didn't post anything online. My revenge didn't need validation. I wanted peace, not applause. I deleted every old photo, every memory. I even changed my last name back to my maiden one, Ava Monroe. The woman named Ava Blake no longer existed. She had died the day she discovered that transfer. The new me was sharper, calmer, wiser. Now and then I'd see his name pop up on social media. New job postings, half-hearted motivational quotes about loyalty and trust. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Then I'd remember the way he'd lied to my face while building a new life behind my back. The pity vanished. 6 months later, I got an invitation to a networking gala. I hesitated at first, but Leah convinced me to go. You deserve to show up again, she said. At the event, I walked in wearing a sleek black dress, feeling radiant. Halfway through, I saw a familiar figure across the room, Adrian. Alone. He froze when he saw me. I smiled politely, then turned away. That silence was my loudest victory. When I got home that night, I poured a glass of wine and stood on my balcony. The city lights shimmered below me. I thought about everything. The betrayal, the anger, the plan, the revenge. I didn't regret any of it. But I also knew revenge wasn't the real prize. Peace was. I whispered to myself, you won, Ava. And for the first time, I believed it. Now a year later, I live near the coast, running a small design studio. I wake up to sunlight, not anxiety. Sometimes clients ask if I'm married, and I just smile and say, not anymore, and that's the best thing that ever happened to me. Because losing him wasn't my ending. It was my beginning. He thought he could take everything. But I took back my life, and every cent he thought I'd never see again. Justice, it turns out, looks a lot like freedom.